Back again, thankfully close to the end of this first block, although I'm feeling a little bit better after a lighter session. Still 9 weeks out. Didn't want to film a deload session, so I figured I'd film 2 workouts this block. This is week 4. This is the final day 4. So we got a big bench press single, 8.5 RPE. We've tracked pretty well so far. I think week 1 was 155, 160, 162.5. So I'd love 170 here, but if it's 165 or 167.5, I think I got 170 in. The bench has been feeling pretty good. I feel pretty energized today. Sleep has been a lot better, with each day. My daughter gets better and better at sleeping, and that in turn allows me and my wife to sleep a little bit better, which has been really good. So I feel myself kind of returning to being a human being as much as possible. And I think taking a little bit of a lighter session with squat helped kind of mitigate some of that fatigue accumulation that I have been feeling. I still feel the adductor generally. I've been doing, for 2 days now, I've been doing my, morning and evening kind of strengthening rehab routines to try and stay ahead of it as much as possible. But there's definitely that level of pain or discomfort. So we'll see. I don't know. I've squatted pretty light the past 3 sessions. I'm gonna take the deload and then come back, and hopefully after that we'll be able to work generally in a way that allows us to hit our goal of 600 in the meet. But the structure of the program changes after the deload. We go three weeks of loading, deload, 3 weeks of loading, meet instead of a 4-week block, which is good. So I think that will probably help mitigate a lot of the fatigue better. 3 weeks seems to be the sweet spot for me when the intensity is super high. So hopefully that's that. Like I said, we got bench today. We can do some warm-ups. Pretty decent level of warm-ups today because we're going high. So what I'll do is probably red, yellow, 2 reds, and then singles. From there, we'll see how we feel. Not a huge fan of this bench because it's just so crooked, but not bad. Do feel a little bit of a tightness in the pec, but I'll probably work that out as we go. I don't know. I feel like I've reached that point emotionally where it's not that I don't care, but I find myself thinking about future programs and going back to volume. That's a dangerous spot to be in, especially for me when I want to stay as present as possible in the prep. So I'm just trying to refocus, dial back in. I think having a deload and allowing your mind to kind of wander, and then bringing it back when progression starts again can be pretty powerful. So that's where we're at. Feels okay. I mean, not really much else to say at 100 kilos. I'll start to make some decisions at 120, a little bit higher, maybe 140. We'll go singles from here. I like the technique it's holding up, so pretty much do this level of work in my sleep so far this block, which has felt nice. That has not been the case in previous blocks. Whew. Quick single here. I'm not talking too much as we go. I'm trying to stay locked in, trying to stay a little focused. Hopefully you guys understand that. Singles are pretty mentally fatiguing for me. So just trying to stay focused on it, feel it out as best I can. moving pretty well. I feel like I'm slipping a little bit, but I guess we'll try 140. Maybe 145. One of the things you got to decide with bench is whether you're going to sink or hold a lot of tension on your chest with the bar. I've gone back and forth. You see a lot of good benchers sink in, press, and I think it's a good way to go about things, but it can make getting the press command a little bit more difficult, especially if you got a stingy judge. So you got to experiment. I think if you're a lighter weight lifter, you may find that it's easier to kind of hold tension, touch, and basically kind of hover the bar over your chest. And then if you're a heavyweight lifter, sometimes sinking and pressing can feel a little bit better. But everybody's different. There's individual differences. I've gone back and forth on each. I'm kind of doing a hybrid where I'm sinking a little bit, but not as much. Figure it out. Yeah, see? I don't know, I feel like my bar path was wrong, or a little bit too low. I think I go 160. We'll treat it kind of like a meet setting. So that was my first attempt. We'll go 160, see how that feels, and then based on that, we'll jump to whatever we think is best. Probably get a spot for a 160, and then go on from there. I don't feel as, I guess, locked in. If we're going to use the parlance of today, don't feel as locked in today as I have in the past. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to try and refocus. I think that's a really powerful tool, just mentally. I feel like a lot of people ignore the mental side of training. You know, I found during the process of the warm-ups, if you're not liking what's happening or you're not feeling as focused or as locked in on the movement, take some time, like mentally do some breath work. I'm a big breath work guy, and whatever it is, positive affirmations, visualizing the technique, visualizing the movement. I think these are powerful tools that kind of sound a little woo-woo, a little hippie. And so, there's been this disconnect between brain and body for a long time with strength sports, I think. But I think there's a lot of evidence and there's a lot of anecdotal evidence to say that applying these mental techniques to this physical work can increase your performance, and I've felt that personally, but not just personally. I can lean on a large body of evidence to believe that. So I don't know, just something. If you find yourself constantly distracted or constantly negative self-talk or whatever, actively work against that. Take a couple seconds in between your sets. Take a couple minutes. Sit. Maybe play some white noise. Do some breath work. Feel it out. It'll be a huge help. I think so. It's been a huge help for me. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Start. Press. Rack.
All right.
Nice stuff.
That felt pretty good.
Yeah, it looked good.
All right. I think I'll go 170 then.
Okay.
Whew. Appreciate you, man. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Start. Press. Rack.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
That felt good too.
Yeah, good job.
Appreciate it. A little bit of a sticking point, but
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
not too bad, right? Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Sorry for taking up your time. You sure? All right. Yeah, this is last week before a deload. I need it bad. 170 felt really good. That set of 5 felt good. We got one more set of 5, and then we got Larsen. It's a lot of pressing today, and oftentimes when I do singles, I get burnt out pretty quick. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in. I was talking to my spotter about rack height. I find that a lot of people have their rack height a little bit too low, so that they're basically doing a half rep to get the bar out of the rack. You want your rack height to be high enough that all you need to do is kind of pop your triceps out, and you can activate as you pull out over the chest. You would think that you want to be able to press, but over time, that's just going to take so much of your energy away that I just think, whatever your rack height is, experiment with a higher rack height. I think you'll find a better time getting through your sets because you have just a little bit more energy in reserve. Oh, I think that was 4. God bless the miscounting. That was 4, right? Whatever, 1 rep, we're fine. All right, we got Larsen, and then we got pause deadlifts. I'm gonna try and pick up the pace a little bit, taking my time with the single and stuff. Nothing more interesting than the same angle of bench press over and over and over again. If you're still here, might as well subscribe. We got riveting content like this coming out all the time, and we're like 50 subs across, away from 2,000, which is a pretty insane number to think about. When I started doing these little vlogs, did not think people would resonate with them, but appreciate you guys rocking with me. All right, let's go 6. Very nice. One more set. I've cut one of the volume sets off of most of my pressing since there's so much pressing across the microcycle itself. And I do start to feel the tendonitis flare up towards the second and third sets of most of these exercises. So I've just cut one set. It's the power of understanding your volume tolerance. And when you use these pre-written programs online, there's a lot of value in them. But if you can bring your own personal experience to them and be confident enough in your own personal experience, like have a library of knowledge built up. So this is going into my 4th year training powerlifting, learning to be a powerlifting coach, having worked under a coach, watching a ton of content, and being present and understanding my own training tendencies have allowed me to understand I can still go where I need to go, get great work with a lower volume. Whereas some people may say, oh, I need way more volume than this, especially on bench press, So these individual differences are important, but you don't know your individual differences the first 3 months, 6 months, a year into the gym, which is why coaching or outside influences can be so important. Just to toot the horn of a coach, any coach. I am a coach, but any coach. Last set of bench press for the block. I would say, looking back, very successful block of bench. Got, topped out at 170 for probably an 8.5. That feels really good. That's right on track to where we want to be in terms of getting close to 400, getting a good bench pressing competition, mitigating some of my fears because bench was what I hurt myself on in my last competition. Strained my lat, which is still baffling to think about, but we're doing good. Nice. I just feel so much more in control of the bar now. Used to be kind of grab hold and pray as I descended, and now I just feel like I have so much more control on the descent, especially. That allows me to have more power on the press. So, all right, I'm gonna take some time, warm up for deadlift. We're gonna try and get 3 sets, because we've gotten 2 past 2 weeks with our pauses. So the goal today is 3 sets. It's just 175. I think the swap from over under to hook grip / using straps has allowed our lower body to kind of follow suit. So that is the goal. But in order to do that, I've got to do my proper lower body warm-ups. So I will see you when those are done. Adductor feels okay, but we'll keep an eye on it as we go. It's like a little twinge in the core as well. Oh, fun. All right, we're gonna warm up quick and get to it. Realizing that it's pause deadlifts, I should probably pause my warm-ups, huh? All right. Whew. Nice. Thumbs hurt. I'm going to use straps, I believe. Get some good deadlift work done. Even though I want to rush through this, I gotta force myself to stay present in the movement, present in the technique, present in each set. Don't think about the third set. Think about this first set, right? There's just always this slight level of fear recently with deadlift. You know, something that you really gotta push back on if you want to make progress. Come on. It's okay. Ooh, made it. That's one. I don't know. Give it some time. Let's see where we're at. Second set. Push the fear way down deep. Can do this. The technique was all over the place, but no pain. Oh, can you give me one more? Just one more. Here we go. Can do it. Probably gonna need your belt though. Huge. Oh man. So proud of myself. All right. Good win. Good win. I feel like I'm the last person, the last vestige of the barbell row. I think a lot of people get the barbell row wrong, and they assume that it's primarily a lat movement when I approach it as primarily a upper back movement, traps, rhomboids, just upper back, just completely upper back. I think you get a lot of trap development from it. But the thing that a lot of people do wrong with the barbell row is that they're too hinged forward. So they end up rowing like this. When in actuality, I find that the best way to row, the best way to get the most out of the movement is to walk the movement out, do a Romanian deadlift, and row from more of a bent over position so that you can flare the elbows, so that you can have a higher on the chest touch point and get more out of the movement. So if you feel like you've never really gotten much out of the barbell row, try it that way and see how it feels. Don't just write it off because your favorite biohacking influencer told you that, your lat insertion is too low for this movement has been utilized in tons of successful programs. That does not mean that it's a perfect implement for every person. We have to move away from these concrete black and white terms with strength training. There can be a time for barbell rows. I don't use them all the time. I like to throw them in. I like to take them out. I like to do more vertical pulling sometimes. But having an aversion to dogma when it comes to training is so important because you can try different things and see what works for you, which may not work for other people. All right, perceived straw man rant over. Let's do a set. Solid. All right, one more exercise, lat pull downs. I'll see you then. All right, last exercise of the day. I've been doing behind the neck pull downs, and in order to get a ton of carryover to my squat, trying to maintain that brace and that bar position so that I can strengthen those positions. I think a lot of people look at, a behind the neck pull down, and they may say, oh, it's not as effective for the lats, which might be true, and I can't load as much weight on it, but I'm using it as a carryover tool. So there's ways to, just like I talked about with the leg press, there's ways to use different movements to enhance your ability to perform the big three lifts. And if you're a power lifter, a competitive power lifter, any little advantage you can get with your accessories will help. So just 130 pounds on here, and we just do 10 reps, but there you go. All right, folks, that'll do it. Good day. Great bench, really good deadlift session. So things are coming together. Thankful for a deload. Hopefully I can carry some of that momentum into the next phase of training and keep the rehab up for the adductor. But appreciate you guys hanging out, watching, sticking with me. Like I said, we're close to 2,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, that'd be great. Boost camp link down in the description. Get strong, stay strong.